60 years ago, over 70% of people said that they trusted the United States government to do the right thing. Today, that number is hovering around 20%. So what happened? Two main things keep coming up. One is competence. Two is transparency. Let's say you were following me through the forest, and we were supposed to get to camp in one day. And here it is on day 3. We're tripping over logs, we're walking through streams, and it's clear that I'm lost. And you ask me, do you know where you're going? And I keep telling you, hey, relax, I know the way. How long would you keep trusting me? How long would you keep following me? You trust a person or an organization until it gives you a reason not to trust anymore. They don't say one thing and then turn around and do another. You cannot say that we're going to spend your tax dollars responsibly in order to improve infrastructure and then turn around and spend $1.5 million putting fish on a treadmill to test the flopping speed. You can't do that. You can't look at someone and say it's not raining and they're standing in knee-deep water and the raindrops are bouncing off of their body. When you intentionally hide your actions, it creates distrust. So there was a study recently done to see how the government can improve the view of competency and transparency. And one of the things they came up with was timely and reliable public services. That was one way that you can judge competence. This would be stuff like Social Security, post office, public education, which are all important. But in my view, what's even more important is when you start to target and focus in on the fraud, waste, and abuse. When you report that a federal agency is missing billions or trillions of taxpayer money, that's not good. And it happens, and it continues to happen. Tens of millions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars are being funneled through special interest groups. That's not good either. So when we hear that a private company makes a mistake, say Apple or Walmart, if they make a mistake, we all nod our head, and it's the shareholders that really suffer the consequences. But when the federal government makes a mistake, everyone suffers the consequences. It's your tax dollars, all of our tax dollars, so we react a different way. Obviously, there needs to be a stronger effort when it comes to cleaning up the fraud, waste, and abuse. But if you look at the government from the 1960s and you look at it today, a lot of the issues are the same. People still committed fraud. People were still wasteful in the 1960s. The main difference is now there's social media. So now you can hear about it as soon as it happens, or you hear about it a lot more. We hear about the classified information being shared. We heard about the fraud. Information is spreading like lightning. If you look back 20 years ago to 9/11, there was a peak in the trust of the government. And even further back, 1991, there was a peak. We trusted the government more. Why was that? What happened in 1991? Desert Storm happened. In September 11th, we unified as a country because there was an ominous threat out to get us. And it's a little scary to think that what unifies us, what creates more trust, is war. War and turmoil should not be an option to create more trust. We do not need any more incentives to get into war. With transparency, the government has a website, usaspending.gov. You can go on there and you can see what we're spending. Right now, over $1 trillion in defense. Also, another $1 trillion on Social Security. Also, we have the Government Accountability Office, and we have the Office of Inspector General. Both of those organizations, they investigate government. And if you're interested in the latest scandal or if an agency did something wrong, all of those reports are public. You can go in there and you can look at it. But can the government ever be fully transparent? I think the answer is no, because we have classified documents. We have confidential, secret, top secret SCI. Now, when I was probably 19, 20 years old, I was in Iraq and I was given a stack of secret classified documents. These documents, they had the diagrams of this technology that if it was revealed, then the enemy could make efforts to mitigate the technology and it could result in more casualties for Americans. So there was a reason why it was classified. But do the majority of Americans believe that all of those documents could do national harm, or something's just being covered up? How long were those Roswell files classified and kept from the public? You know, the ones with the UFOs in New Mexico in the 1940s? Those records are pretty much hidden for about 50 years. I think many Americans have more trust in the government than they're willing to admit. Like when you go to the grocery store, you pick up some meat. If it's FDA approved, you're pretty much going to nod your head and put that steak on the grill. Same thing with cars and safety regulations. There's a certain level that we can all agree on. But when it comes to agencies like the CIA or the FBI, that level of transparency is not there, and it never will be there. So what about you? Do you think 20% is accurate? Do you feel that 20% of the country trusts the U.S. government? You think it's a little bit higher than that? Let me know down below. Now, if you're still looking for a federal government job, you might be interested to see what agencies pay the best, what agencies pay the worst. If you'd like to know that, I want you to watch this video next. If you would like to see more videos like this, please click like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.